Hi, and welcome to my channel where I love to do all types of DIYs, everything from home updating projects to budget-friendly DIY home decor. If these are things you're interested in, then I hope you will consider hitting that subscribe button and become part of my DIY family. I'm going to start with this 18-inch wreath form that I had picked up from the Dollar Tree, and the only part I want is the outside ring, so I'm just going to trim that down with some wire cutters. Alright, we just set that aside in case we decide to use it for anything else. Get rid of this tag. Okay, and I'm going to set that aside. And I have got a sheet of poster board here. And I don't know, I thought they used to be white on both sides, but this one's like a cream color and a white. And the color doesn't really matter because we'll be spray painting it anyway. Grab a pencil and a ruler, and we're going to be making some fan blades. And the bottom of the fan blade is going to be 4 inches. So I'm going to mark this poster board at the 4-inch mark. And then they're going to be 11 inches long. And the top piece will be 1.5 inches wide. And this first one I'm making is really just going to be the guide to make the rest. So first I am starting with the 4 inches on the top, just like we did on the bottom. Drawing my 11 inches down to connect the 2 lines. Now I am going to, I got 4 inches, middle is at the 2 mark, right there. And then I want that to be 1.5 inches wide, and that would be center at 0.75 of an inch. So once you find that 2-inch mark, just from that point, in both directions, draw a line that is 0.75 of an inch or 3/4 of an inch. And then those 2 3/4 of an inch line is going to make your 1.5 inch line for the top. And then you're just going to draw a line from the ends of that top to the ends of that bottom 4-inch line. I hope that makes sense. And then we're just going to cut that piece out, and that one piece is going to be serving as our template for the remainder fan blades that we're going to need for the project. I'm just going to put a T on it. And then you're just going to use that template and trace out the remainder on that poster board. And you're going to need a total of 12 fan blades, which will all fit on one poster board. Next, I'm just going to take this masking tape roll that I had purchased from the Dollar Tree, and I am going to go ahead and draw 3 circles with it. And I'm doing that on top of some foam board, and you can get foam board from either Walmart or even the Dollar Tree. And then I'm just going to use an X-Acto knife to cut those 3 circles out. And then we're just going to take 2 of those circles we cut out and glue them together with some hot glue. And then with a pair of scissors, just trim off any excess around that circle. Okay, now I've got some lightweight spackle. And I had picked up these little sculpting plastic tools from the Dollar Tree. Just going to see how well they work. Then we're just going to take that spackle and smooth it on the top and around the edges of this circle. And I do suggest that you start off with the edges. And as far as these tools going around the edges, I just found it easier to use by fingers. All right, I'm going to set that aside to dry. Okay, so I let this sit overnight at minimal. Mine actually set for a couple days. But I'm going to go ahead and just kind of give it a little bit of sand, just kind of smooth it out in a few places. Doesn't have to be perfect. I want this to be rustic. Now we're going to grab all of our pieces that we've got so far. All right, we got 12 of these, so we will need 12 of these long wooden dowels. I had picked these up at Walmart, and they come in a 16 pack, and they are the longer ones. Okay, the poster board has a shiny side and a flat side. I'm going to glue mine to the flat side. And the noise in the background, that is my air conditioning. So I'm sorry about that, but I can't work in this room unless that AC is on, because it's upstairs, so it gets really warm up here. And I am just going to mark where I will be placing down these dowel rods, which is at about the 1 3/4 line. I just want to make sure they're all even. That's just going to show me when I glue it, that's where I'm going to place the end of it down to. And then I'm just going to hot glue those dowel rods down, making sure to line up the end with that mark we just previously made. And you want to go ahead and use a generous amount of hot glue. That way those dowel rods are securely down. I didn't use enough hot glue, so I had to re-glue a few of them. All right, I'm going to give them just a second to make sure those last couple ones are completely dry. All right, once these are dry, it's time to assemble. And what I'm going to do actually first is I want to have another round piece, but a little bit smaller than this. That way you can't see this round piece from the front. And it will also help us secure those little fan blades. So I'm going to cut this down just a little smaller before I do anything, before I forget. Just set that aside. Center all this up. I'm going to set this ring aside. We actually don't need that. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that the circle that we put spackling on is facing down. And then we're just going to take all those fan blades and line them up in a circle. And you want the bottoms of those fan blades touching one another. And you can see how I'm doing it right here. All right, once you get your 12 pieces lined up, you just want to make sure to have the shorter ends here touching. Just kind of make a circle. And then we're just going to take our piece of wreath form, and we are going to center that on those fan blades. All right, that looks pretty good to me. And this is where your masking tape is going to come into play. You take a long enough piece. You're going to place that. I'm going to do that on one of them so it does not move, or two of them so it doesn't move before I grab that hot glue. I'm going to go ahead and peel me off some strips. So when I glue it, they're all ready to go. And then we're just going to take some hot glue and glue that along the dowel rod over the metal wreath form. And then we'll just take a piece of tape and lay that on top. Just be careful, glue's hot. And make sure you pinch that tape along that metal piece. If you've got a thicker piece of masking tape, that would work even better. And when taping down, you want to make sure that you go both vertically and horizontally with that masking tape, just for more security. And again, just making sure you pinch that tape along that metal piece and the dowel rods. And I am very sorry if you guys hear a lot of noise in the background. My husband just got home from work, and every time he opens that door, you can really hear those cicadas out there. Let me know, are the cicadas really bad in your area, or is it just here in my backyard? Because they are crazy loud. All right, and then once we've got that started, we can go back through here and add as much tape as you think you can need. I just like to make sure I've got tape touching on all sides. Just to make sure it don't go anywhere. I made one of these several years ago, maybe 4 years ago. And it is still holding up. And every time people come in, I'm like, look, do you know what this is made of? And they're like, no, it's pretty. And nobody ever guesses that it's made from Posterboard. It's amazing. All right, once we've got all that tape put on, we are going to go ahead and hot glue those dowel rods to the round piece, making sure to get up under those dowel rods as you see me doing here. And then once you've got those glued down, we're just going to put a whole lot of glue around the tops, and then that way we can put the smaller round piece on top of it, wedging those dowel rods in between. And I just set my spackling can on top until it sets up. All right, let's flip this baby on over. Ta-da! And that's what we've got. Now I have picked up one of these ornaments from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to take one of them, and I am going to just use the star. So I'm going to see how hard this is to take this star out with my wire cutters here. All right, easy peasy. And I want to attach this to the center. Trying to get an idea of what part I want facing up when I hang it. I think that'll look good right there. Now I've also got these. So you could also pick these up if you can't find the other ones. And you could just do something like that. But I like the smaller metal star. So I'm just going to use some of my Star Bond multi-purpose instant glue. All right, we're gonna let that dry. Shouldn't take too long. And once that star is dry, I'm just gonna spray a little bit of alcohol on it to get any fingerprints off, because we're going to take it outside and apply some spray paint. And the spray paint we will be using is Antique Pewter. This is the Rust-Oleum Hammered Paint and Primer in one. So we're going to take it outside and I'm going to spray paint this whole thing. And before you spray paint it, you're just going to want to make sure you get all the little glue strands off of there. And did you guys hear those cicadas? Oh, wow. When I was playing this back, I realized how extremely loud they truly are. All right, so we're going to go ahead and let that dry. It says in 30 minutes to 2 hours you can apply a second coat. We'll just see how it looks. You just want to get complete coverage. You don't have to do the back. If you would like to do the back, you're more than welcome to, but when it's hanging on a wall, you're not going to be able to notice it, so that is completely up to you. And we will be back as soon as that's dried. All right, I got it all spray painted, and as you can see, it is a little shiny, and I have a whole scenario for how I paint this. Making up a story in my head. But I picture myself buying this brand new to put out in my yard, and it's all nice and shiny. Then over the years, it gets weathered. That shininess, it flattens out, starts looking, you know, distressed, and the weather's taking its toll. But so that's kind of where I'm starting at. And I did go ahead and print out some stars. I don't think you can see that very well. I just used my Cricut machine, but if you have stickers or anything like that, you can use that as well. And I am just going to use those. And don't worry about the color because they will be peeled off. But I'm just going to lay these out. All right, and I've also got some of these natural sponges that I'll be using, and I just cut them up. And then as far as paint, I've got Elephant and Silver Lining from Waverly, Burnt Umber from Apple Barrel, and Crimson and Ocean from Waverly. And I'm gonna go ahead and start with Waverly and the Elephant. And the first thing I want to do is kind of start by giving it some darker gray to kind of flatten out this shininess. I'm going to put some gloves on because I'm going to make a mess. I'm just going to dab it on. Doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm gonna do this to every fan blade and also around the center, just a little bit. And sorry about the noise. It appears my neighbor is mowing and my AC keeps kicking on and off, but we'll get through it. All right, then once those are how I like it with the elephant color, I'm just going to let that dry down. And I'll probably just go ahead and use my heat gun here. All right, I'm gonna start with the ones with the stars on them. And I want those to be blue. So I'm gonna take the ocean color. Okay, I am gonna draw that down. Now, I don't want to leave those stars on too long in case it decides it wants to stick very well. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my silver lining. And I'm just gonna kind of pounce it very lightly in some spots. And I'm gonna take some more of the elephant. Okay, some more silver lining. And then I'm going to take some more blue. Go ahead and let that dry down. Okay, so the next color, I'm going to go red, white, red, white, red, white, red, white. I'm actually going to use the silver lining for the white. Now I'm going to take a paintbrush and I'm going to paint that star red best I can. Then I'm going to go ahead and pull those stars off. And when you're pulling those off, go slowly. Don't get in too much of a rush like I did. I ended up actually tearing a couple, which you'll see here in a second how I fixed that. All right, and you can see where I kind of tore a little bit right there. Because I went too fast. So to fix that, I'm just going to put a little of the elephant. If anything, maybe it'll just make it look a little dulled out. I don't know. That way that paper's not exposed and tears up any more than it already has. All right. I'll just use my finger to kind of wipe away and whatever gray I put on will stay with the paper. And that looks good. And then I'm just going to take some of that silver lining and I'm going to pounce it around the star and the circular piece underneath the star. And then I'm also going to go along those dowel rods. And I'm going to alternate between the silver lining and the elephant colors. But I'm going to make sure that is dried down, and then we're going to rust it up. Then I'm just going to take some of the burnt umber, and I'm going to start along the wire part and just dabbing it along that, making it appear rusted. And then I'm going to go along the dowel rods. I'm going to go along the edges of the star and the circular piece around it. And all the edges, pretty much, I'm going to apply that burnt umber. And then at times I'm going to take a clean sponge and just kind of press it in where I've applied that burnt umber. And it works really well, especially if I feel like I put too much on. That dry sponge is just going to help kind of mute it out. All right, I think that is done. Oh man, that looks so good. I can't wait to hang it up on the wall. So tell me, what do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comment section down below with a little smiley face if you enjoyed this. And I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this. And I hope you liked it as much as I do. I think it turned out absolutely beautiful and high-end looking. Have a great day. See you next time.